All right, so guys, so this weekend we have UFC Fight Night, Curtis Blaydes versus Chris Daukaus. Interesting enough, this is the first fight night outside of the Apex that's in the US because the last fight night was in London, but this one's in Columbus, Ohio. Interesting fact. But yeah, so main event, Curtis Blaydes versus Chris Daukaus. What do you guys think?
Curtis
Uh,
Blaydes. Um, I like Curtis Blaydes. The line is really juiced. Um, Curtis Blaydes is really good. Very good wrestler. He has really good stand up too. Like he got stupid against Derek Lewis, got caught with the uppercut. But like before that, like he was like kind of piecing up Lewis on the feet with some pretty respectable striking, for a heavyweight. And then he got the dub over Jorginho, and it didn't didn't seem like he took too much didn't have too much difficulty doing it. I think he's just better than Daukaus. I think he'll be able to take Daukaus down if he really tries to. I think on the feet he's got enough power in his hands that if he lands on Daukaus, it will hurt him. And yeah,
um,
I just Lewis. The only problem I have with him is the line is very inflated.
um, yeah, I think heavyweight's at the point where we're not necessarily going to get the most interesting matchups in the current division unless it's like somebody unranked taking on the ranked. It's kind of a weird matchup, this match. Um, I guess I just feel like Curtis Blaydes should simultaneously be fighting at the top of the division, but I don't know if I could justify it. It felt like he fought everybody, to be perfectly honest. Curtis Blaydes can beat Chris Daukaus pretty much any way he wants. He can wrestle him. He can out jab him. I don't know if Chris Daukaus has the power to put out Blaydes, because even though Blaydes has been knocked out, look at the people who knocked him out, right? And he took on Jairzinho, who's not far behind, and Jairzinho hit a mad flying knee. Curtis Blaydes. So maybe Chris Daukaus might have better hand speed, but once he gets taken down, I could see Curtis Blaydes wearing on him and then eventually just, finishing him on the ground or something. Not to say that
Yeah,
this is his
I think
game.
that's good analysis. I like the only advantage I could solidly give Chris Daukaus is his hand speed. Like he is certainly a faster striker. But other than that, like I don't even want to say that Chris Daukaus is necessarily a better striker because I am been pretty impressed by Blade's striking. It has definitely improved like since his debut, and it's pretty clear that he's working on it. And yeah, like we were saying, like against Lewis, he was piecing him up in the first round, and then he caught that uppercut, and that was it. And then similar to Ngannou, so yeah, it is really hard to say like if his chin is actually bad. I actually don't think it is. Like everybody gets knocked out by the shot from Lewis and Ngannou. It's just not much you can do about that. And yeah, I mean, and then Curtis also has the option to take it to the ground, whereas I feel like Daukaus can only really win this fight on the feet. Apparently, he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so maybe he'll surprise us there. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Darren where the line's just really juiced. I mean, FanDuel or DraftKings set at minus 400. It is heavyweight, but I mean, it's hard to find an argument for Chris Daukaus. So
He
yeah,
hits him really hard.
I think the only people who really beat Blades he lost 3 times in the UFC and MMA in general, and it's all been to like the heaviest, literally the two heaviest handed people of all time. So yeah,
Okay, I guess the next one, because not much
yeah.
else to say.
All right. Joanne Wood versus Alexa Grasso.
So I'm gonna give away my pick right away.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily I don't think it's a smart pick. In fact, JoJo, formerly Calderwood, now Wood, because she married, I think, Nathaniel Wood or something. I forget.
Really? I thought she divorced and her maiden name was Wood. I thought
I
that's
don't
what
know. I think
I
she
actually
got
don't
she
know.
got married. So
Oh, all right.
yeah. So
Anyways,
um, she's a plus 200 underdog, and honestly, the only time I remember her losing really badly was against Talia Santos and Jennifer Maia, who like submitted her. Um, so Talia Santos, I think, could very well be the next champion. I've been high on her for a long time. She's gonna fight Shevchenko, but I think JoJo Wood's style is just an interesting one, where she could essentially just kind of outpoint you, to be perfectly honest. And then you have Alexa Grasso, who's, a nice prospect and everything, but I just think JoJo Wood is more tested. Her best win is Macy Barber. And Macy Barber is a solid contender, but I think JoJo was more tested. The only thing I worry about is if Alexa Grasso can wrestle. But I honestly don't know if she can. So, yeah.
Yeah. The thing, so I don't have much of a pick for this fight, but I do think it is like either you pick Joanne Wood or you pass, just because I just feel like both these women I feel like are like decision fighters, and this most likely will go to a decision, in my opinion. And especially in women's fights where we already know how bad judges are. Like I just feel like a lot of times you go to the judges and it's really difficult to say who won. And in those scenarios, you rather just have the underdog in
Yeah.
Joanne Wood.
And
So
Alexa Grasso's fighting, I believe, a weight class up, if I'm not mistaken, isn't she? Who's his 125 champion? It's
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko, and 115 is like Rose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she moved up. Yeah,
she
looks
was
like she moved up.
and then she went. I mean, she's had success moving up, obviously, but
She's done well.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, when your best one's Macy Barber, I mean,
Macy Barber's a decent win.
Macy Barber is a decent win. I think Joanne Wood is more decent, though.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm on the other side, actually. I like Alexa Grasso. I'm pretty high on her. I think, she's pretty young. She's only been getting better, like, as she's progressed through her career. Where Joanne Wood, I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't think that's still the case for her. I don't know how old she is. I know Alexa Grasso is like 27, or she's 28, and Alexa Grasso is 28, and Joanne Wood is 35. So yeah. I think Alexa Grasso is like a little bit slept on. I think her last fights were pretty good. I think Macy Barber is very solid. Alexa beat her 2-1. Jeon Kim is decent. Alexa handled that pretty good. And I think that in her, like, she did pretty well with Macy in the grappling exchanges. I think she hasn't really shown it in any previous fights, but I do think if she like gets in close on Joanne, she'll be able to like tie her up or get her to the ground and just kind of control the pace of the fight in general.
I think she's just faster. I've also never heard anybody say they're high on Alexa Grasso, so good on you.
Say that
All
again?
right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Whatever.
let's move on. Matt Brown versus Bryan Barberena. I can't believe Matt Brown's still fighting.
He's 41.
He's 41. His record is 23-18. He's been fighting since forever. Yeah, I mean, I have no feel for this fight other than, I don't know, Bryan Barberena's younger. Probably still like, late prime of his career, whereas Matt Brown is 41 years old.
Yeah. So Matt Brown, the immortal, remember he died and came back to life here. He I don't know. He shouldn't be fighting anymore. That it's kind of as simple as that there.
Well, he won his last fight though, so it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, but he wasn't he was he was losing until he won, right?
Yeah.
And then this just isn't a very good fight. Bryan Barberena, he's never really done well against the best competition. He doesn't even necessarily have knockout power. I don't remember him ever knocking anybody out, to be honest. I would probably need to research that a bit more, but he just isn't very good. And he's a perfect fight for Matt Brown, with that being said. Yeah, not much to say.
I think you guys covered kind of all the bases. It's just kind of a sort of a whatever fight. It'll be cool to watch, but I don't see much value in either guy because I just like it's such a wild card. Like I mean, who the fucking knows what Matt Brown's gonna look like coming in? Someone that old, you never know what's gonna happen. And the money's been on Bryan because I think Matt Brown opened as kind of a favorite, and it's pretty much going down to damn near even odds either way. So
yeah, my sports book has them both at minus money. The only value bet I could see is Matt Brown by KO, because Bryan Barberena has been KO'd quite a bit, but I would stay away from this fight in all honesty.
yeah, I'm not betting on this shit.
All right, next fight we have Askarov versus Kai Kara France. It's interesting that it's this far down the card, considering this is potentially a featherweight or a flyweight title eliminator. But here it is. What do you guys think about this one?
So a couple of things here. First and foremost, since I'm recording this, Figgy and Moreno have been confirmed in July. Otherwise, Askar probably would be getting his title shot by now. And though I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I like Askarov here. I think Askarov is really, really good. Obviously, he's never been defeated, and so I could see him wrestling, missing up the striking as well here. Kaikara France, I think what he has for him going is just basically speed, to be honest. He's really fast. He's really strong. I remember when he fought against what's the guy? Rogero Bontorin.
Yeah.
Where he knocked the guy out once, and then like the ref came and he wasn't sure. Like, oh, did I not knock him out? And he ran back.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he's gone. And I picked him over Cody. So the Kaikara fight is really good. I just think Askarov is a little bit better as well.
I think.
Oh,
go over it, ever.
Oh, me? Okay. I was gonna say I kind of agree with that last sentiment where I do have respect for Kaikara France, but I think Askarov was a little bit higher of a level. I will say the one thing that interests me is Kaikara France has like very, very good takedown defense. Like he's not an easy guy to just get down. So I think Askar might struggle a little bit with like if he wants to try and wrestle him. But with like I don't know, I feel like Askar could just kind of like he could clinch him up against the fence, get that control time, just kind of like force Kai to not be able to strike with him in his realm. And I just think Askar has more ways to win, where Kai really kind of has to just keep it on the feet to the best of his abilities. Askar could strike with him to set up the grappling. He could go full on wrestle fucking. He could just like try and clinch him on the fence. And yeah, I think he's just better over like an all around.
Yeah. Well, I agree that Askar should be the favorite. I just think the line here is super juiced for Askarov, and it's only getting bigger for some reason. Like, Askarov right now is minus 365 on DraftKings. He started off as minus 300. I just think that's too much respect to put on Askarov in this spot. I think Lorenzo pointed out earlier, I think, or also Dermer, but like Kaikar France has really good anti-grappling. He has a really high takedown defense, and against Rogerio Bontorin, he was getting controlled that whole first round, and then he just found his way back up, and then ended up knocking out Rogerio Bontorin. And I just feel like Kaikar France is always a live dog in this type of situation, because it just seems like he has the ability to be defensive in the grappling situations, get up, and then still be able to put you out. And I also do believe he has a significant speed advantage in this fight, which I think will be huge. Now, I actually went back and watched Askarov's fight against Brandon Moreno, and I actually don't think he should be undefeated at this point. I think Brandon Moreno clearly won that fight, and if you go on MMA decisions, it supports it. Like most people thought he won. But in that fight, I mean, Moreno's a pretty fast guy, and he was able to crack Askarov. And I just think that Kaikar France has the ability to do the same thing. On the feet, yeah, like Askarov on the feet, I think it's kind of sketchy for him. He is like, I feel like one of the slower flyweights, and whereas Kaikar France is one of the faster ones.
Yeah,
and yeah, I don't know. I like Askarov could. Well, I think we'll definitely be able to take down Kaikar France, but will he be able to hold him down is another question, and I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I think
it'll be easier to hold down than take down. I think once Kai gets on the ground, Askar will have a little bit easier of a time advancing through positions, but like just getting Kai to the ground in the first place, I think will be a struggle because Askar doesn't have the greatest takedown in the world.
So I don't know about. I think he takes down a lot of his opponents. He also has like
he shoots a lot to do it.
That's fine. It's the flyweight division. I think if you're going to that was just a transition. I didn't mean anything. Flyweight, so you trade down all the time. But if you're gonna bet on this first, the odds should be more even. I think that's fair. But if you're gonna bet on this, you probably want to bet Kara France via knockout in round 1, an uber specific bet. But that's, I think, his best opportunity because once he like fatigues from all the grappling, he's not gonna be able to do much because his speed's gonna go down, and that's his main advantage here. So that'd probably be like plus 500, I'd imagine too. So, you know.
It's gonna be more than that because I'm betting on Car France by KO. It's plus 750.
Oh, so then by KO in round 1, we'll probably be like nearly 1,000 then.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, so actually on a technical level, I think Askarov has like a really good like body lock takedown. And it's the same body lock takedown that Rogerio Bontorin was able to hit on Car France. So I do feel like if he gets in close with Car France, that Askarov would be able to take him down. But I think Car France has like really good get-ups. And I think his grappling defense is sound enough to allow himself to get up and possibly knock out Askarov. So I don't know. I like Car France as underdog here.
Sure, that's fair.
All right. Moving down, we have Alexei Oleinik versus Ilir Latifi.
Okay.
So Alexei Oleinik, his record is 59-16-1. Unbelievable. 44 years old.
Here.
Wow.
Alexei Oleinik is gonna win. I've been banking on him winning for the last 3 fights, which by coincidence he managed to lose all of them.
Yeah.
But I want Oleinik to get to a solid 60-0. I know he's a really good submission artist. And the only fight that I think he really looked bad in, to be perfectly honest, is that Chris Daukaus fight.
Daukaus.
Daukaus. I can never say his last name. I don't know why. But
Because you got it wrong.
He looked pretty good in the Derek Lewis fight. All things considered, he nearly submitted him. He was winning until he wasn't there. Chris pretty much put him down, honestly. Sergey Spivak, I think Spivak definitely won that fight. He did kind of just keep throwing hooks and hooks instead of going for the takedown. But maybe he just has respect for Sergey Spivak's grappling. Plus, I just don't think Latifi's just not very good, to be perfectly honest. It's as simple as that. When you move up a division, and he looked fine against Derek Lewis, I'll say that there. He was surprised me against that, even though he was mostly wrestling. I think he might have won that fight. He didn't win that fight, but I thought he might have won that fight. But when you're taking Tanner Boser to a decision, and you're split, Tanner Boser isn't a very good heavyweight either. So they're just not very skilled. I think he wrestles a lot too, Latifi, but if you try to grapple with Oleinik, that's not just going to work out for you, man. Not in the slightest. So I got Alexei Oleinik probably by decision because Ilir Latifi does a good job of not, getting finished, right? If he can not get finished with Lewis, I have his confidence that he can win.
Bro, so I like Oleinik as a dog just because again, like I feel like Latifi is just not that good, and I don't have much confidence in him. On the other hand, like he's never been taken down in the UFC. And I don't see a path for Oleinik to win this fight if he doesn't. I mean, obviously, I don't know. He's probably never faced a grappler this good. But, like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, Oleinik is old, and Sergey Spivak isn't very good either. And
What?
I like Latifi here. So I like the fact that
you're probably gonna swing me.
He's never been submitted in the UFC, or he's never submitted in his entire career. And if you look at him, it kind of makes sense. Like the dude just doesn't have a neck, and he's built like a brick shithouse. So that kind of I don't see Oleinik submitting him, and I feel like that kind of eliminates a lot of Oleinik's threats because obviously he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He really wants to go for that submission. And yeah, I mean, Oleinik's 44 years old. He's not getting any younger. He's really slowed down too. And I think Ilir Latifi is gonna try to take down Oleinik actually, and probably just lay on him, and probably win by decision. But yeah,
that's dangerous.
That's the worst game plan you could do against Latifi.
Yeah, against Oleinik, like don't let him. You can't. You shouldn't be like in close contact with him because he has chokes from every angle, bro. He'll choke you out while he's mounted.
It's also
I don't think Latifi will fall to that. I really don't.
well, he could also he doesn't need to choke him. He has an armbar. Like he
Yeah,
uses the old Russian style armbar as well to do that. You don't need a neck to tap somebody out.
Yeah, that's true. But again, like Latifi's never been tapped out in his entire
Latifi,
career. I just don't see it
he's
happening.
also, that's what I thought too. And then I also like to that end, he's never faced Oleinik. Like Oleinik has
Yeah, that
nasty
is.
jiu-jitsu.
So
I mean, yeah, that's objectively true.
I think part of it is that has Latifi never been taken down like ever?
According to UFC stats, his takedown defense is 100%.
In all his career? Because that's surprising. Because he's fought like Ryan Bader, and he did lose to Ryan Bader and like Musasi, but like
Yeah, Ryan Bader never took him down.
yeah. But there's a first time for everything. It's also that Latifi is an overgrown lightweight, or light heavyweight, and he's fighting at heavyweight now. So I think that's a big thing too. They're probably gonna be around the same size to be honest, because Alexei Oleinik's just not gonna cut weight. And Latifi probably is around his weight when he doesn't cut it, but I just think that Oleinik is better. He doesn't have as much power as he doesn't have power to put down Oleinik like Chris Daukaus has, or Derek Lewis, or Walt Harris, or Overeem here. He's a point fighter, and you're gonna point fight with Oleinik. I mean, okay, sure. If you can
We'll see.
point fight 10 or Bozer, I don't have much faith in you.
Yeah, we'll see. It's hard. I don't have much faith in Oleinik either. I mean, yeah, none of these guys are particularly great heavyweights, but I mean, Oleinik just probably needs to retire at this point.
Oleinik is a great heavyweight. He's just old. He's a plus 168 underdog too, so that's even better.
All right. Next fight we have Marc Diakiese versus Viacheslav Borshchev. So this is a tough fight. So I just like Borshchev here. I like his power. So if you guys remember his last fight, he actually knocked a dude out via a liver shot. He knocked out Dakota Bush via a liver shot, and it was a really beautiful punch that was really like beautifully set up. The guy just has like really good finishing power. Whereas Marc Diakiese, he's just really come out flat in a lot of spots here. If you look at his record, like he has every time he's taken a step up in competition, he's always fell short, right? So he has wins against, Lando Venata, Joe Duffy, but then he loses to like Jakar Close, Dan Hooker, Nasrat, Fiziev, and I do like Borshchev as a prospect in the lightweight division. He has a lot of power, pretty high on him. The downside is Borshchev, his striking defense is kind of sus. Even against Dakota Bush, Dakota Bush was able to crack him before he came back. But these two are just on different paths, right? Like
trajectories.
Like Diakiese is just he seems to be fading. Like he once was like a really solid prospect. Now he has a lot of losses, and I don't know where his confidence is. So I like Borshchev here.
Yeah, I have absolutely no strong opinion in this fight. I only remember Borshchev from his Contender Series. I actually don't remember the Dakota Bush fight, to be honest. I remember his Contender Series thing. Honestly, I'm completely fine with Borshchev just based on his power. Though you should consider that Daukaus, not fucking Daukaus.
Daukaus or Diakiese.
It's really not that hard. It's literally Daukaus.
Daukaus. Yes, there's two brothers.
Diakiese.
Diakiese, this guy, Marc Diakiese. So this guy, I don't think him losing to the best competition is necessarily a knock against him, but I also don't have strong feelings towards him. His last fight was against Rafael Alves, who actually looks really good. I mean, his only last loss out of his last like 10 is against the uncrowned champion, Damir Ismagulov. Damir Ismagulov. And he's really good. He's probably should be ranked, but he doesn't fight enough. But yeah, I'm okay with Borshchev. I don't have much else to say.
I was gonna kind of say like to what Josh said. I do like Borshchev. Like he does have real finishing power and real finishing like senses. Like he knows where to put his shots to hurt people. Um, but like his striking defense is sus. This is just for his long term potential because I know you said you were a prospect that you were kind of high on. His striking defense is really sus, and especially like at the in the division that he's in, like it's hard. It's tough. Like especially like there's a lot of very dangerous. Even like the top of the division is like incredibly dangerous on the feet. Like if you get hit a
Yeah.
lot, like, it's not going to go well against someone like Charles or Justin if you get hit consistently.
Let's get through. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like outside of the fact that I like outside of the prospect status, I like Borshchev in this fight just because Marc Diakiese is kind of like Diakiese is like the quintessential kind of like point fighter. Like he's not. I don't think he's gonna knock Slava Claus out. So I just think that it's a matter of time before Borshchev catches him on the feet with some shit.
Well, does it change your mind that
I think
he's
Diakiese
never been
provides.
knocked out? Diakiese has never been knocked out. And he's fought some
That's
hard hitters too,
even
so
even if he doesn't get knocked out, I think it's going to be one of those where it's like even when Josh Emmett doesn't knock someone out, like you can kind of just tell like he's hitting the other motherfucker harder than they're hitting him. It's kind of going to be one of those where like
Mhm.
Slop landing the harder shots and he can get the decision.
Okay.
Yeah. And Rafael Alves rocked him in his last fight before guillotining him.
That's
so
true.
he has been hit before. All right. Moving on, we have Neil Magny versus Max Griffin. It's really hard. This fight's like it's like really hard for me to make an analysis other than I just like Neil Magny. Max Griffin's just really underwhelming. Yeah, not much else for me to really say about that. What do you guys think?
Neil
I think
Magny is a really good gatekeeper. He only loses to the elite competition. I don't think he should lose this really anywhere. My only exception would be Max Griffin can wrestle, but does he wrestle? Is a very different question because Neil Magny has definitely struggled against people who could wrestle. I remember his fight against Chiesa, where they were both gassed, but Chiesa just managed to out wrestle him completely. And I believe I don't if I remember RDA, I think out wrestled him too. But aside from that, I don't think there's any way Max Griffin wins this.
I don't like you at all because you just said literally everything I was about to say. Um, Neil Magny tends to do well against people who aren't the elite guys in the division. Max Griffin is not one of the elite guys in the division. Max Griffin has decent grappling skills, but will he actually go to use them? Probably not. If he does, will he be successful? That's a coin flip. I would say probably not even. I'd say Magny is has Magny will probably be able to defend any kind of grappling Max Griffin gets into, and then on the feet he's just longer, and I think I'll touch him up pretty much most of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
like Magny parlay piece.
All right, we're good then.
cool. Sarah McMann versus Karol Rosa.
Okay, I actually have a decent opinion. I actually have a prediction, and I got a opinion here. I would have put this as my pretty much parlay piece or like bet if the odds were up. So Sarah McMann is actually really, really good, despite what her record says. Um, she was beating Juliana Pena, the current person who's 135 champion who destroyed Amanda Nunes. So MMA math
True.
basically says Sarah McMann is better than Amanda Nunes.
True.
But the problem is that Sarah McMann, she doesn't have a good gas tank, and now that she's even older, she's I think as old as Matt Brown. Um, she's not going to be able to handle that third round. I can imagine Sarah McMahon probably winning round one because she is that good. Round two, she'll start to slow down. And this is the controversial thing I say. I think that Karol Rosa is going to finish her in the third round because if you look at all of like Sarah McMahon's losses, they're via submission, and they're either in the second or the third round or third. Yeah, so I could see Karol Rosa by submission or finish in rounds two or three. I think that's a really juicy bet.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is an interesting fight because Sarah McMann's record is really confusing because she has these weird losses, like these weird submission losses, and she's like winning the fight in all of them, right? Like you're right. In the Julianne Pennant fight, she was like taking her down easily in the first 2 rounds. Like she's able to control her, this and that, and then she just totally gasses out in the third and then gets submitted. Again, like in the Marilyn Renault fight,
Same
the
thing.
fight ended in the second round. She has 5 minutes of control time. Like she was just controlling the fight and then ends up getting submitted. Same thing in the Kellen Vieira fight. So, it obviously is a pattern for Sarah McMann, but at the same time, like she is an Olympic caliber wrestler. She's really strong. If you just look at her, like her arms are massive, and I think she will be able to take down Karol Rosa at will, especially in the first round and maybe in the second round. And at plus 186, I just kind of like Sarah McMann as an underdog here. I think her record's kind of deceiving. I think she will be able to control Karol Rosa, especially in that first round. And we'll see like what happens later. Maybe she might gas and lose, but I'm willing to put some money on Sarah McMann as a underdog here.
I'm with Lorenzo on this one. I think like Sarah McMann has shown a tendency to gas before in fights. Not every fight, but like it's happened. Like against Juliana Pena, it happened. And the fact that she's 41 years old now is not gonna work in her favor. I could definitely see a situation where Sarah McMann like wins the first round, is doing well in the second round, and then she just kind of starts fading, and Karol Rosa takes over and gets the finish. I like Karol Rosa to finish the fight in rounds 2 or 3. Obviously, I don't think FanDuel has the props, but it might be on DK.
Yeah. I will say Karol Rosa does have really good takedown defense. But I will say one thing that's deceiving is looking at her competition. Those people definitely take you down. But she did fight. This might also. I don't know if you guys would change your mind, but the greatest women's fighter of all time, Beth Correa, the most athletic woman of all time. It was really uncomfortable what Karol Rosa was doing to her. Like if you guys take a quick second to Google search that, you'll see that Beth Correa was all bloodied at the end of that fight there. It just wasn't a pleasant experience, to be perfectly honest there. And Beth Correa is a little bit older. Beth Correa is
She's bad. That Bechko is really bad.
Well, I wouldn't say she's bad, honestly, because she was a former title contender, and she's gotten really far despite no athleticism, similar to her and what's her face, Roxanne Modafferi. And if this is going to be a retirement tour, I could see Karol Rosa also retiring Sarah McMann. Well, maybe that's a bit far, but I don't know. I think that Karol Rosa is also pretty good. She's on a pretty hot streak,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Danaa Batgerel versus Chris Gutierrez.
I have no opinion. I'm sorry.
No opinion. Yeah, this is all you if you want to talk about it.
Yeah. I kind of like Danaa Batgerel just as a prospect. I think he has really good knockout power. Obviously, he finished his last 3 fights by knockout in the first round. But again, this is definitely also a factor of like those guys aren't that good. Honestly, his best win is probably against Guido Canetti, who he beat Chris Coutinho. That's something.
Yeah.
But then I mean his other wins are just really really not good. Kevin Natividad, Brandon Davis, not very good. 2 stints in the UFC, just a very unsuccessful time in the UFC. But so it's hard to really say how good Danaa Batgerel is, but I'm just not really impressed with Chris Gutierrez as a stand-up, to be perfectly honest. So at what is it? It's like a close fight. I think it's like Batgerel is minus 150. Pretty close line. I do think Batgerel has probably the better stand-up. Definitely has more power. So I don't think I'm actually betting on it, but this is certainly one to watch, and this will tell us a lot about how good Batgerel is.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Josh. I don't have anything to say. Just a random fun fact. I'm looking through the record. Chris Gutierrez had a draw with Cody Durden. That was at 135. But Mohamed Mukhaev, the future flyweight champion, future youngest UFC champion in history, he just finished him in like less than a minute. So Mohamed Mukhaev beats everybody.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess last fight we want to talk about, I guess, is Jennifer Maia versus Manon Fiorot.
Mm-hmm. So Manon Fiorot is essentially she's the next generation. Let's just put it that way. She's not necessarily young per se, but she's also very, very experienced. She's in a similar. I know this is going to be a really weird comparison because they're only superficially related, but she's similar to Wei Yi or not Wei Yi. That's a chess player.
That's for sure.
That's Wei Li. Where Wei Li lost her first fight, but then she went on an insane streak there. And Manon Fiorot, obviously, she has a lot less, but she's also really credentialed there. She has her black belt in karate, as well as Thai boxing there, where she's national champion in multiple things. So she has the power to go and, beat people like Jennifer Maia. Now, one thing that does worry me just a little is that Manon Fiorot might be a little bit have an ego on her. She took down her last opponent, and I could see Jennifer Maia maybe submitting her from there. But Manon Fiorot, I think, has the stand up to make her win this. But Jennifer Maia sometimes muscles through positions. If you could take down Valentina Shevchenko, I could see you taking down Manon Fiorot, to be perfectly honest there. So I still think Manon Fiorot is the favorite, and rightfully so. The line might be a little big for my tastes, but I think she should be a clear favorite for good reason.
I mean, I think the line's like way too big just because. I mean, Maia won a round against Valentina, like holding her against the fence and that. And Manon has really nasty stand up, and she has like real finishing power, and which is rare for women. But her grappling, like in the UFC, has been very untested. Like if you look superficially, she has 100% takedown defense. But then if you look closely, like there's been two takedown attempts on her, and they're by Tabitha Ricci and Victoria Leonardo. I don't know. I think Maya's obviously Manon should be a favorite. Like you said, it is like a younger versus like the older generation, and that typically tends to go for the younger one. But the plus 350 for Maia, like I don't know if I'd bet on it, but it is definitely interesting. Like I definitely think she has ways she could win this fight. Even like what she did against Valentina, she kind of just held Valentina against the fence up there. Like there's a chance she could do that to Manon. Like maybe not and it's only 3 rounds, and she only has to do it for 2 of them.
Yeah, the
So
line's crazy. The line's crazy.
Yeah, Manon's rightfully a favorite, but that line's just a little bit too much for me to indulge in.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, so the line's crazy, but I'm still willing to bet on Manon. Jennifer Maia, just her last fight, I mean, yes, she has that takedown threat, but against Katlyn Chookagian, like, she really just didn't try to use it that much. And Chookagian was able to easily defend the takedowns, and then on the feet, like, she just got pieced up by Chookagian, and I think it'll be similar, if not worse, for Manon, because, like you said, I am pretty high on her as a prospect. I think her stand-up's really good. She's also just really athletic, I think. If you look at her, she's, like, super shredded for a woman, which is pretty rare. And I don't know, like, it's really hard for me to picture Jennifer Maia winning. Like, yeah, she could take her down. Yeah, she took down Shevchenko once, but it was more of like it was a weird, like, scrambling situation, if I recall correctly from that fight. Like, it wasn't like she didn't, like, blast double her or anything. I don't think Maia's takedown's that good, and even if she does get her down, I don't know if she's going to be able to hold down Manon. She might just be, like, too strong. Manon is for Jennifer. So yeah, minus 450 is crazy, but honestly, I don't really have a good feel on a lot of these fights, so
yeah,
I think it's a fair price to pay.
So, again, if you want to bet crazy, I could see a world where Fiorot does the takedown, because she did line a takedown, and then if you line a takedown, Jennifer Maia, I don't know about that. But yeah, Fiorot probably. I don't know. Has Maia ever been knocked out? I don't know if she would knock out Maia. I would need to look
No.
closer.
Yeah, Fiorot by decision is definitely the play, but there's no props up right now, so unfortunately you can't bet on it.
Yeah, I would have to look at that, but decision seems all right.
Yeah, I think Fiorot by decision is definitely something to consider whenever it comes out.
Okay. That's everything then, right, guys?
Yep. You want to go over our bets?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I don't really like a lot of these fights, but we have to put down some units. So all right, so I have a Blaydes Latifi Fiorot parlay, plus 131. I'm putting down 4 units on that. I have Sara McMann money line plus 186, putting down 2 units on that. I have a Neil Magny versus Borshchev parlay at plus 122, 3 units on that. And then I have a Kaikara France by KO plus 750, putting down 1 unit on that.
I like your that first bet's really funny to me that you bet 3 people and the odds are so off that it's only
Yeah,
plus
it's just
30.
plus. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? There's a lot of juice lines in this fight, so
All right, my turn.
yeah.
All right, first one we got a Curtis Blaydes and a Slava Claus parlay that's plus 100, straight up even money. We're gonna do 3 units on that one.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec. I gotta put in the math for the parlays. Where's Neil Magny? All right, and then we're going to do a Neil Magny and Curtis Blaydes parlay minus 131. Gonna put 2 units on that. I'm really balling out on Curtis Blaydes in this card. Like if he loses me, I'm kind of fucked. But he is the favorite that I'm the highest on. And then I have a fun parlay. 1 sec, method of victory. All right, here we go. We got Curtis Blaydes, we got Neil Magny, and we got Alexei Grasso by points.
All of them by points?
No. Just Alexei Grasso by points. Curtis Blaydes and Neil Magny on the money line. You know what? Fuck that. Scratch the last one I made. We're gonna go crazy on this card. We're gonna put 5 units on this parlay.
Wow.
On the Blaydes Magny Grasso by points.
By points, yep, at plus 2 112. We're gonna go crazy because I don't feel confident in any of these fights anyway, so I'm gonna have a little fun. Or I don't feel like super opinionated.
So
And
Blaydes
then
Magny Grasso by points is only plus 112.
plus 212.
Oh, that's
Plus
still
212.
Oh, 212. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, I have Blaydes and Lava Claws at 3 units. I have that at 5 units, and with my last 2 units, I'm actually gonna follow Josh's lead. I don't think this will happen, but just playing the odds. Where's the combos? Here we go. Kaikara France to win by KO or TKO in rounds 1 or 2 plus 1,000. Put the last 2 units on that just for the culture.
Oh, that's higher than the KO.
Well, yeah.
It's Kaikara France by KO TKO round 1 or 2.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
Yeah, by
Dang.
KO TKO first 2 rounds. So it's not going to happen, but in case it does.
Oh, if you get it, I mean that's a smart bet. You're definitely going to start leading, I think, at that point if that happens.
I mean, it won't, but it's 2 units, so fuck it.
Yeah.
All right, Lorenzo.
Blaydes, the line. This is gonna be a theme. The lines were really inflated for this card. I had Blaydes by TKO at plus 105, 2.5 units. Alexei Oleinik money line 160 at 2.5. Karol, Rosa, and Magny parlay minus 101. Still minus money, 2.5. I just have JoJo Wood. Money line plus 198. I would probably change Karol Rosa to by finish and JoJo Wood by decision once those props come out. But for now, this is my bets.
You're not going to put a unit on Kaikara France on the knockout?
No. I believe in Dagestani.
Yeah, I forgot you love Dagestan. Maybe that's why you don't like Connor.
All right. This is Cold Takes MMA. Shit, I've kind of fucked that up.
Like,
Anyways, just
like, share, and subscribe.
Subscribe. Yep.
They know the
Peace.
fucking drill.
Peace, y'all.
No one listens this far.